Hi there, and greetings from the rooftop of my hotel here in Kathmandu, Nepal. I'll give you a quick little scan of the scene here. I'm on the 6th floor of my hotel here. Great vantage point of the maze of alleys and streets and buildings stretching off in all directions here. The Himalaya mountains are in the distance, obscured by haze at the moment. There's some lower elevation brown hills that you can see easily, and then when it clears up a little bit, then you can see the white-capped snowy peaks of the Himalaya mountains off in the distance here. There are an assortment of noise distractions around here at the moment, dogs barking, there's a construction site right nearby, etc. So I'll do my best to enunciate myself here so that hopefully I can be heard properly. So this video is on the subject of what is the cause of suffering? And it is one of the Four Noble Truths that the Buddha said that desire is the cause of all suffering. And I will just mention that one reason that I'm addressing this topic at this time is because Nepal is the birthplace of the Buddha. He was born in what is now Nepal, in the little village of Lumbini, which is near the Indian border. And Nepal is a mix of both Buddhism and Hinduism, but I've been visiting an assortment of different important Buddhist sites around Kathmandu the last couple of days. So I am a world religions major in college. I've studied Buddhism also on my own here and there, read various books, been to workshops, etc. I do not claim to be an expert on Buddhism by any means. However, I'm going to disagree with the assertion that desire is the cause of all suffering. I agree with a lot of what is contained within Buddhism, and so I'm not meaning to disrespect Buddhism or the Buddha whatsoever, but in the spirit of free discussion and under the assumption on my part that any spiritual teacher that is worth listening to is someone who should encourage dissent and expressing your own point of view, even if it disagrees with them, then I'm going to disagree with the Buddha here. And I also acknowledge the fact that I don't necessarily have a full understanding of what was intended within that teaching. Certainly it is multi-layered and multifaceted. So I am simply speaking to that question of, is desire the cause of all suffering? And no, I do not believe that it is. It is my belief that desire is an absolutely essential, integral, and just unavoidable aspect of life. That there would be no life, no existence whatsoever without desire. Desire is actually fundamental in my view. First of all, just keep in mind the fact that none of us would exist here in human form on this earth if it were not for sexual desire. That is what brings a man and woman together and creates a child and results in all of us being here. And that is not a small or insignificant or inconsequential fact. That is certainly representative of something. The physical realm is a mirror, a manifestation of the spiritual realms. And so I do not see that as some sort of just coincidence or something, but that is an important, reality. And so, that's the first thing to keep in mind, is that if you're going to negate sexual desire, then you're going to negate all of human existence. But desire certainly goes far beyond, romance and sex. Alright, I changed locations here. You may have noticed the fellow peeking curiously behind me there. He's a worker that needed to work on the solar panels that I was standing next to there. So he's now sort of banging away in the background. And I have a generator on the building next door, so we'll see how this goes. But before I go further in the discussion, then I wanted to say something else, which is that I wanted to speak to an important lesson within that teaching, that desire is the cause of all suffering, that I absolutely agree with. And that is that I think inherent within that teaching is the idea of seeking happiness outside of oneself, and that it is absolutely a cause of suffering and a distraction and a very common and really constant part of human life that most of us, to a great extent, are oftentimes seeking happiness outside of ourselves, seeking happiness in money, in power, in sex, in relationships, in material things, in prestige, in all sorts of things outside of ourselves, and that this is absolutely a cause of suffering and pain, and will never fulfill us, and that the answer to finding happiness is to find happiness within. And so that is absolutely a relevant and valuable lesson within that teaching of desire. However, desire is just a integral part of our lives. Desire is that which moves us forward in our life from one moment to the next, and is that which provides us the vision for what sort of a reality we want to create, and gives us the impetus to move into that new reality and to create that which we desire. Desire is across the spectrum. There are so many different forms and manifestations of desire. Desire can be for anything. But in my view, there is no escaping the role of desire in our lives. There is no such thing as a life without desire. So it is my view that desire is absolutely essential to life, not just to human life here on Earth, but to existence itself. That desire is that impulse which actually gives rise to consciousness, and that desire absolutely is positive, is important, is essential, must be worked with. It certainly is a source of confusion and misunderstanding. We oftentimes desire things that we think are going to make us happy, and that is a distraction and a misunderstanding of what happiness is. And so it is not simply that all desire is good. I'm not saying that. But that working with that energy of desire, coming to a greater understanding and mastery of it, being able to recognize when you are coming from a place of positive desire, of creation, of manifestation, of a vision for your life, that which you want to create, versus what can look like a desire, but which is actually a desire to get out of pain. And so oftentimes our desires are based on seeking to mask our pain and our frustration and our negative thinking patterns. And so we are simply seeking to cover up our pain, and that the answer to resolving that pain within is to go within and to acknowledge it and to face it and deal with it and work with it and uncover our true inspired desire of creative expression, and flowing with that desire and aligning with that desire that we have within us to be happy, to be healthy, to be whole, to live in a just and free and creative and fun society. There is a difference to be made, a distinction to be made between positive desire inspired from the soul versus the desire to get away from suffering. And so that's just my own perspective on desire and suffering. I'm going to offer my own answer to that question: what is the ultimate cause of all suffering? In my view, the cause of suffering is self-denial. Vibration equals life. Vibration is the fundamental basis of the universe and of existence. When we are in a state of spontaneous, creative vibration of our being, then we are in a state of joy, bliss, happiness, pleasure, knowingness, being in the right place at the right time, being in the present moment, the here and now, when our vibration is flowing freely. That which causes suffering is when we repress that natural, spontaneous vibration of our being and limit ourselves from our natural expression and put restrictions on our being through negative thinking patterns, through denying our true emotions and feelings, and through allowing the projections of others to embed themselves in us. And so in my view, the answer to this conundrum of lack of vibration is to seek to tap into one's true creative potential, to one's true feelings, even if they're negative feelings, finding that spontaneous source, that primal flow of energy within us, and coming into alignment with it, and channeling it, mastering it, flowing creatively with it, as opposed to repressing and denying it. And I think that is a misunderstanding that can oftentimes come about from this lesson that desire is the cause of all suffering, that this can be interpreted, even if the Buddha didn't mean it this way. And again, I'll just clarify that I'm not claiming to understand exactly what was said, what was intended, the fullness of it. There's a lot to the Buddha's teachings, and I agree with a lot of Buddhism. But just speaking again to that notion of desire and offering my own clarification and understanding of the subject, which is that a misunderstanding can come about that we must then repress our desires in order to be happy, in order to deal with our suffering. And I think that this is a quite tragic mistake and misunderstanding. Repression is never the answer, in my view. Repression of one's true thoughts and feelings and emotions always results in self-denial, and self-denial leads to suffering. And the answer is to come into alignment with our true feelings and emotions, to tap into that energy of our soul, and to find balance with it in some way. And that is definitely a very tricky process, and it is easy to get pulled around by strong emotions and carried away by them, and to get lost in them. And so the answer oftentimes is then to repress those strong emotions, and therefore find peace of mind through getting rid of that which troubles us. Whereas, in my view, it is important to embrace and honor even those challenging aspects of ourselves, and to come into alignment and balance with them, and to channel that energy, to find mastery with that energy of our soul, that basic primal essence of who we are, as opposed to repressing it. So I hope that at least offers some food for thought on this very thought-provoking subject, which I am absolutely open to other interpretations and viewpoints on. Feel free to comment below the video, and I will be happy to engage in the discussion. So thanks for watching. Take care.